Hi, I'm Lewis Spears. Welcome back to another episode of The News Ruins Everything. And if you like my hoodie, you can get yours at loosespears.com. Death Threats Don't Scare Me restock is now live. Today we're looking at an article by The Economist that is just doing the rounds on Twitter because of the amazing headline. Archaeologists discover a gruesome tower of skulls in Mexico City. Now that's the first part of the headline. That's pretty crazy. That is probably where I would end it. It's this part of the headline that is going absolutely viral. Pioneers of gender equality, the Aztecs sacrificed women as well as men. Because nothing says equality like chopping the heads off women. This article about a civilization regularly beheading people at events is interesting enough. Like, it doesn't have to get any more interesting than discovering a society who, while they're having a barbecue, are like, hey, I'm a bit bored, do you want to chop some heads off? The Aztecs love chopping heads off anyone for any reason. They would chop the heads off men to appease a god. They'd chop the heads off women to appease a goddess. They'd chop the heads off children to make it rain. Not to be confused with single mother strippers disappointing their children to make it rain. I don't understand why this article was written. Like, was the journalist going, man, is chopping the heads off women a girl boss thing to do? Although very famous feminist Margaret Thatcher was a big fan of war crimes, so maybe this is feminist. What I find interesting about this is depending what you cut from a woman determines how progressive it is. Chopping off their heads, quite feminist. Chopping off their clits, different story. But let's get into the article. The Aztecs were not gracious victors. Their prisoners of war were frequently used for human sacrifice as part of spectacles in which their hearts would be ripped from their bodies by priests to be offered, still beating, to the gods. Speaking as someone who now lives in Tasmania and has visited the Housing Commission here, that's not the craziest thing I've seen someone do with a body part. Their heads usually fared no better, usually ending up in some kind of skull wall. Now that is metal, isn't it? You know, like here's Trump trying to build a wall in Mexico to keep people out. Meanwhile, the original Mexicans were using heads to build their own wall. That's cool. I'm just going to pause here and let you know that we're halfway through the article, right? There's been no discussion of feminism at all, just beheading people and making walls out of their skulls. I'm not sure where the feminism is going to start, but it does remind me of a quote by a very famous world-renowned feminist, Emma Watson. If you want equality, you're going to have to chop off a few heads. I think it was Emma that said that. They then go on to say that they found a giant tower of skulls that's about 4 meters wide and is probably about 6 to 10 meters tall when it was originally built. To put that into perspective, that's about as tall as I am and about as wide as your average feminist. The skulls that make up the wall were stuck together with lime and clay and are mostly male. Ugh, typical. Men always getting a head start. But, and here's where the feminism starts, others belonged to women and children. Fuck, man, nothing really says equality like just committing genocide against innocent women and children, does it? What the fuck is this article? Like, what are they trying to do here? That they still haven't spoken about their society, like they haven't said that the Aztecs were very supportive of equality or they didn't have many gender roles. All they've said about women is that they have been added to the skull wall. Like, what is the journalist's point here? Feminism is when you kill children? That's not a pro-equality sentence. That sounds like a talking point that came out of the average Texas Republican. I told y'all, feminism is when they want to kill babies is what feminism is. So what I'm getting from this article is not really any sense of feminism. What I'm getting is that if the Aztecs caught you and you were a woman, you would be beheaded and turned into a wall. Now, who said women couldn't get into construction? I mean, this article really just shows you the state that journalism is in today. They're just trying to get clicks. So, without any further ado, let's solve that problem with today's sponsor, Ground News. The media landscape today is just really broken. Everyone is fighting over clicks, and the best way to do that is to just write sensationalized things and leave as little truth in there as possible. They're trying to make you angry, they're trying to make you misinformed, just so they can make money for themselves with your clicks. Ground News is a news comparison platform. Now, what that means is they will show you all sides of the story. You can look up one story on Ground News, and they will show you the left-wing version of it. They will show you the right-wing version of it. They will show you the centrist version of it so that you can see how every different news outlet is trying to spin the same story so that you can come to your own conclusion. They've got a massive library of sources. They have over 50,000 news outlets so that you can look at any issue or any event and see every side of every side and come to your own conclusion. I really love this service. I use it personally because it's great to see not only all sides of the story, but also what certain outlets are either trying to show you or trying to push, or what they are selectively deciding not to show you. It's a really great tool to see what political opinions these outlets want you to have and what details they're omitting, and you can kind of figure out why they're doing that. Cash. Ground is what I want the future of news to be, showing you the entire story. So use my link in the description and the top comment to download the free Ground News app and form your own opinion. So support the brands that support what I do. Let's get back to the video. Oh, let's see if this gets progressive. Women were sacrificed at feasts and festivals where they were chosen to represent goddesses. That's quite feminist. Goddesses, you know, most Western society only has one male god. So the Aztecs actually had female gods, and come to think of it, killing women is something that male feminists are known to do. This shit is so confusing. Like, they haven't mentioned anything positive about women or their society at all. They're just being beheaded in the article. I guess this journalist must think Ted Bundy is a fucking feminist icon then. Look, I don't think beheading people is the best way to secure them rights, although I would be open to trying the idea on furries. And children were offered to the rain god Tlaloc as the tears they shed on the way to their deaths were considered an omen of plentiful rainfall. I mean, I don't know if this is the society we should be looking up to. I mean, I love what they did with the pyramid things. It's kind of cool. Don't think I'm going to take any other lessons from them. And this is how the article ends, right? I've read just about every part of this article. This is how it ends. So far, 450 skulls have been identified in the tower. The total in the Huey, but whatever the fuck. Sorry, Aztecs. You know, I'm too white for this. Don't chop my head off. Is likely in the thousands. However, the Spanish colonizers probably exaggerated how many they had seen. And then the article just ends and there's no mention at all of feminism, so they've chucked it in there to piss people off, which I actually am doing a 360 now, and I'm coming back around, and I 100% agree with this. That's great. If the only reason this journo put feminism in the title was to piss people off and make them click, I mean, congratulations, you've done your job well. That's why I made this video, and that's why the people clicked on this. So we are one and the same. I actually wrote the article. I'm coming clean. Look, my takeaway from this article is just please don't consume your human rights beliefs from journalists, because shit like this is getting mixed in with actual people doing great work, okay? Don't use feminism or progressive movements as a way to make money for websites like The Economist, huh? How about that? I don't think a bunch of fucking hedge fund share trading are the ones that are going to be pushing a progressive view on the world, all right? Don't use courses like this to get clicks, all right? If you're going to talk about feminism, if you're going to talk about equality, great. Just do that. You don't need to ham-fist it into an article that is about chopping women and children's heads off, okay? It doesn't help anyone. Other than me, I'm assuming this will get quite a few views. So thank you very much. You know what? Keep writing them and I'll keep trashing them. But that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I will have a new video out in a couple of days. And also, if you want to see some of my stand-up, I've been posting every single day on TikTok and over on my Instagram as well. But if you don't want to leave this website, I have a YouTube Shorts channel that's been pumping out daily stand-up as well. So go and check that out and grab tickets to my future shows. I'm going to Adelaide, Perth, Launceston and Hobart, losepeers.com, and if you don't see your city on this list, check out losepeers.com/gig list, put in your city, and I'll send you a message when I'm on the way. All right, that's it. I'm done. Grab your merch. I'll see you soon. Subscribe. Bye. Try not to chop women's heads off. See ya.
Buy my shit, buy my shirts, buy my merch and no one gets hurt. Buy my shit, buy my shirts, buy my merch and no one gets hurt. Buy my shit, buy my shirts, buy my merch and no one gets hurt. Buy my shit, buy my shirts, buy my merch and no one